Thanks, Lisa. Nowadays, when many of us think of car collections, we imagine beautiful old Ferraris locked away in a warehouse in Tokyo, never again destined to see the roads that they were built for. Well, many of the so-called collectors buy for the investment and not because they have any great affection for the cars that they collect. But Craig SINGHAUS has found a collector who breaks that mold, a man whose love of the automobile has led him to build a car collection that rivals any in the world. But these cars aren't all Ferraris, and they don't shy away from the asphalt.
As you can see, this is no ordinary car collection, but that's only natural, since it was assembled by no ordinary car collector. Otis Chandler, publisher, adventurer, and automotive aficionado, has applied his immense energy to preserving the best in American muscle cars for future generations, and in doing so, created the Museum of Transportation and Wildlife in Oxnard, California.
Car collecting has been part of my passion ever since I was a young boy. When I first had a little Cushman motor scooter, went to school, and also made a little go-kart out of my dad's lawnmower motor, which he didn't appreciate. And ever since then, been involved in cars and motorcycles. And then 3.5 years ago, I got in the muscle car hobby, got very interested in it because prices were cheap and I always liked them, liked the looks of them, liked the power, the noise, sound, performance. So I was one of the few major collectors of cars to get into muscle cars as a diversion from out of the classics and antiques. And now I have about 60 muscle cars, and I think we have one of the nicest and rarest and most authentic collections in the world.
One of the outstanding features of this collection is that it preserves some of the rarest examples of Chrysler's Hemi-powered cars.
All right, this car we have here, this brown Hemi Coronet convertible, is one of two that was made. One was destroyed in the fire, and this is the only one left. So you're looking at one of one. This car is one of 14. This is a 1970 Hemi Cuda convertible, and they made them first in 1970, and then they made only 7 in 1971, and this is the last of the 7, and this is the only yellow one of the last Hemi Cuda convertibles.
Gorgeous.
One of the important historical parts of collecting muscle cars, of course, is to reflect their history, which wasn't just driving them for fun on the street, but it was actually going down to the drag strip on Saturday night. And the tapestry behind me shows 2 of my cars at Lyons Drag Strip, probably in 1969. Also, what happened was guys would go out, and if they didn't go to the drag strip, why, they would go out to a lonely road and they'd hook up and they'd have a guy with a flashlight out there and he'd drop it, and two cars would take off and their girlfriends would yell and scream. So that was Saturday night drag racing in LA. Now we're coming to this very, very rare 1969 ZL1 Camaro. They made 69 ZL1 Camaros in '69, the only year they made them, but this is the only rally sport one, and this is the only one with the original paint, original engine. So this is probably the rarest Camaro in the world today.
It isn't unusual to see Otis Chandler drive one of these cars on the street or on the racetrack. Even his priceless 917 Porsche from the movie Le Mans makes numerous vintage race car appearances. But what is unusual is that one man would work so tirelessly to preserve so much for future generations, and for that, we can thank Otis Chandler.